people contribute different aspects that start to meld together, and then people don't remember who said what, and does it matter, and how, couldn't have done this without you. So yeah, it's messy.
Yeah, it's very messy because, eh, the researcher, Scott, must have said enough to where the Compass engineers and scientists could re-engineer what he said, bio-re-engineer the molecule.
Yeah.
So, but that's a good example of loose lips sink ships.
Welcome to another edition of Psychedelic Sages, where we provide intuitive insights, truth bust, and service watchdogs and guides for topics around spiritual medicines, more commonly referred to as psychedelics.
Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Psychedelic Sages. I'm Beth Bell.
I'm Stephanie Saul.
And today we're going to talk about compass. I think this is a very interesting situation that is out in the news now. I know, at least for myself, way back when, there was lots of discussion around compass and whether they were trying to patent nature's molecules. And so there was just a lot of scuttlebuttle, even though they're a really strong player in the market. So just the other day, we had come across our news desk the lawsuits that are being filed. So I'm going to just toggle over to this, and then Steph, I want to hear your thoughts on it, and maybe we'll even pull a card.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm looking at the Psychedelic Spotlight website. They have this new, press release that says Compass Pathways sued for stealing trade secrets. So I got to put my glasses on for this. Compass Pathways faces a legal challenge from Terran Biosciences over the potential theft of intellectual property. The legal battle never seems to end. Mere weeks after the court saga determining whether the proprietary psilocybin COMP360 is indeed novel and deserving of a patent closed in Compass's favor, a new front has opened in the legal fight against the company. This time, the question revolves around whether the psilocybin company stole trade secrets from psychedelic researcher Scott Thompson. The story, originally broke by Psychedelic Alpha, involves a Compass patent that details combining psilocybin with a 5-HT2A antagonist to treat depression and other mental health issues. The biosciences company is suing Compass, claiming that the contents of the patent were stolen from Thompson. On Monday, August 8th, District Judge Ellen Lipton Hollander was assigned the case. So it looks like there's going to be some really interesting things coming down the pike, and that probably explains some of their dips and dives in their stock as well. But any thoughts on your end, Steph, on this? Because there's been a lot of stuff I think we've been kind of feeling and seeing come through the cards previously.
It's really sad that we've come to this. This is what I've been doing most of my life, is preventing this. Working for a company to prevent the theft of intellectual property, because that's the real income earners for the company. That's based upon what's gonna have generate revenue for the whole life cycle of the company. So it's very important that these things are guarded. Now, it's interesting, though, that it's a trade secret violation or accusation, because we all know, or in the legal profession, we know that there are certain steps a company must take in order to even have your trade secret protected. And we also know that an NDA usually doesn't protect that. I mean, in real life. You can have it all on paper, but once you get out there, then what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So I'm really quite surprised that they didn't take more precautions dealing with Compass in revealing such sensitive information.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to go with an explanation of the famous Kentucky Fried Chicken recipe, where the Colonel, they always had different people that had the parts of the recipe. Coke had the same thing. No one ever had the complete recipe for Coke, and I think that's true even today. One person would have it into one safe. One person would have it in another safe deposit box. So you have to take precautions if you really are guarding and want to be protected against that type of thing, both in the 3D and legal. So I'm really surprised that this company would send their chief researcher into a negotiation situation without having the bases covered. And I mean
And
more than just
yeah,
an NDA.
I agree with you. I think when we look back though at the beginning of any company, a lot of times what happens is it's ideations. It's, it's not the big pomp and circumstance that it becomes, and you don't realize how big things are going to get or how important things are. And you have those, napkin conversations and discussions, and then it kind of, yeah, things you need to sort of be working together. But it is such a true testament to your, your professional experience that you have over time, how important it is in the beginning in these kinds of ventures to really have the right supporting documentation and understanding of who owns what. And it does get fuzzy because sometimes one person can say one thing and the other person says another, and it does start to accentuate each other, right? So that's how things sort of, and that's where it gets all gray and sticky and fuzzy, because people contribute different aspects that start to meld together, and then people don't remember who said what, and does it matter, and how, couldn't have done this without you. So yeah, it's messy.
Yeah, it's very messy because, the researcher, Scott, must have said enough to where the Compass engineers and scientists could re-engineer what he said, bio-re-engineer the molecule.
Yeah.
So, but that's a good example of loose lips sink ships,
Yes.
because like researchers, they're not thinking about the legal aspects necessarily, but they should have been briefed as to what the scope of the NDA would cover, as far as him revealing such sensitive information that could take their market share away in one fall swoop. So I would be interested to know. And there's other things you like. Who owns the whiteboard? I know. When I was representing one of the largest company in the Southern Hemisphere, I was making sure that when they were on our premise, we own the whiteboard. So our premise is the whiteboard. So small things like that. But he could have just went and sketched out. We don't know what happened in that particular negotiation or meeting, but probably too much was said.
Yep, I agree. Do you want to pull a card on it? Is it something we
Oh,
want?
yes.
Okay.
I'm so excited to pull
I
a
think
card.
it'd be really interesting.
Be interesting to see the energy behind the intentions of Compass, as well as the energy around the researcher Scott Thompson.
Well, can we do two different cards then? Because I think
Yes.
that intention. So the first intention will be Compass's.
Yes.
What is behind them? Okay. It's all the way over to your right. Yep. Over. I can't see your finger. There, right there, right. Nope. Right. A little bit there, right there.
Here?
Yep, right there.
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
This is so interesting. Now, this is the same card that we pulled
It is.
for the industry. And I think it's the same card we pulled for the FDA. So this could be construed quite interesting, that maybe they were just innocent and were very shocked at what Scott revealed. And that's what I'm thinking when I see this. Maybe Compass didn't have any preliminary intentions of stealing the intellectual property that was revealed by Scott, researcher, but maybe he revealed so much that they could take it and bio-re-engineer the molecule.
Yeah.
And that because the NDA did not cover the full extent of the trade secrets, he basically told them the formula. So maybe they could have very well been within their legal rights and to do what they did, but it wasn't stealing technically.
Right.
He was just stealing too much information. So I would love to see that NDA. Ooh,
yeah, right.
How it was written, and I bet you was very, very loose. And it could be hard to actually prove if that presentation wasn't recorded or set in stone in some way, but it doesn't look like they had evil intentions.
Okay. I love to pull the cards and see what they have to say. All right. Well, let's see then on Scott's end what comes forward.
Okay, Scott, yeah,
Because that means a lot to their stock price if that's really the case. It
yes.
probably will bring the energy into the courtroom that they are potentially innocent.
Yeah, they didn't have any intentions of stealing it,
Okay.
but
To your left, I see the card very clearly. No, more to your right. Closer, right there. Nope, to your left. To your left. To your left. To your left, right there.
here,
Yep, right there.
wow. Major Arcana World card. This is the World card. This is a card of completion. Maybe Scott was really out of his league in the negotiations with Compass.
Say more what you mean by that.
Yeah, maybe he just wasn't cognizant of the extent of to what he was revealing. That
Yeah.
he basically gave them the keys to the kingdom, but he probably wasn't aware of it. I don't think.
Yeah. When you were talking about Compass, and we were pulling this card, I was thinking to myself, I don't necessarily think that Scott had, the knowledge of what he was giving away either at the time. Like it felt a little bit, I don't want to say innocent, but in a sense, innocent on both parties. Yeah. And
That's
without,
what I'm feeling.
yeah,
And the thing is, now that it's out into the world, you can't take it back. It's come full circle. And
yeah,
I don't think they can't put it back in the bag. It'll never be patented probably by the company that Scott's working with.
right.
It won't happen.
Okay, so what's coming to me to share right now, because we're talking about obviously the cards from a multidimensional aspect, but in the third dimensional realm. But if we look at this at a higher level and a more multidimensional realm, we know that all the ideas for everything exist within, let's call it the ethers, for lack of a better word, and they're available to everyone. And it's just a matter of who downloads, who channels what piece, and depending upon the intention of how we run with those ideas, they can be stolen. They can be also downloaded by someone else at the same time. So this is where it gets, I think, really sticky, because there's the legal aspect, which your expertise is in, but then there is the universal law aspect of things as well, right? From another dimension, that these things come in, and as we know, the plants, the energies behind psychedelics as a whole, they are ready to come through. Who they come through, whether it's an individual or a company, it's going to happen. So I just wanted to sort of put that out there for.
It's really true. Yeah, this is the card of absolute universal law.
Yeah.
And the fact that it doesn't belong to anyone. But this may be a good sign that these companies will come together and settle this out of court and work together as a team, a joint venture, because it really is, Mother Nature is open source. And this is what the whole clamor behind the intellectual property is, to be able to own the molecule and manufacture it, under a sole trademark, under a sole name, to make money. So, but if it's in more of a collaborative, where they have to work together in order to get the product, which I think maybe happen if they're operating on a higher sense of duty and obligation, that this would be a great opportunity to do so and not let it go into the
Here's my advice. If anybody from Compass or Scott is listening, I would take Comp 360, all the key players, go into ceremony, take it and come out and let the plant tell them how to resolve this out of court, save the money, put the money into the research. We know that money has to be made, come up with something that is fair and agreeable to all parties. That's my recommendation.
Absolutely. Take the products, guys. And download the solution. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yes,
All in
because
the
these
same
are,
ceremony. Yes.
yeah, these are really, really positive cards that could potentially be a really negative situation. I thought they were going to come out way more negative, but we're looking at it from a higher perspective.
Yeah.
And I absolutely do believe that that's really the message.
Okay. Great. I love it. Anything more we need to pull on this or say?
Well, you want to look at what they will do?
Okay. Let's see what the cards say about what will happen. What is the outcome?
What the prediction is. What will Compass and Terran do? What would be the outcome? What would they do? How will they resolve this? I guess is the question. Okay, Beth, which way?
Okay, it's pretty much in the middle, actually. To the right and to the left. To the left. Right there. Stop.
Here?
Yeah, right there.
The Hierophant. What's going to be interesting? They may go to mediation and arbitration. There's could be a mediation and arbitration clause in the NDA. Well, they'll go and try to figure it out. They'll sit across the table and really try to take the high road here. It looks like to bring an impartial third party in to say, "Hey guys, let's see how we can really settle this in an amicable fashion, where neither company loses face,
Yeah.
neither company loses traction
Yeah.
on marketing and getting their products out there, but it's done with a sense of a higher vibratory frequency."
Can you put
So,
the card closer to the camera so I can see the details on it?
but this is also the card of the large corporation. But the corporate energy usually is depicted by this card, meaning, and it can be the card of big pharma too. So there's a lot to lose here. This is going to be a case that's going to set a lot of precedent in the future of how things are going to be resolved. Hopefully, we'll do it in the sense of being a new paradigm for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But hopefully, it'll be a positive solution for everybody. It'll be a win-win.
Okay, great. I love it. Let's end it on that note. All right, stay tuned for our next episode. Thanks for tuning in to this episode. You can get more in-depth information on our Patreon site, Psychedelic Sages.